Alright, so now that we got Metal Man's ability, it's time for Bubbleman. The water slash ice slash equivalent, I guess. The background of this stage absolutely drives me crazy. It was and is incredibly painful. And I apologize. I wish it wasn't like that, but unfortunately that's how the game is. So, I mean, it's not like later areas where there's like absolute consistent flashing that, you know, if you have any problems with epilepsy or anything, could potentially like hurt you. But, you know, this was a different era, 1989. There's not much sensitivity to people and their reactions to things. So, yeah, this is my wonderful attempt to try to actually fight enemies instead of just breezing through the whole level. And, you know, it paid off. So, and then once you get to the water, it's the best ever, because you jump the entire width of the screen. There are a couple deaths like that. You'll see right here shortly. See the little spikes at the top? It's because if you even do more than lightly tap the jump button, you will just leap crazily in the air. It's a bit of a trip, but it's fine. I got Metal Man's amazing ability and should be able to take out pretty much everybody on the way there. So this series, just like the previous one, there will be a nice little death montage at the end, and that is usually my favorite, just because of how real it is. Because I edit out everything. All the noise, or I try my best to. I mean, there are some areas where there is a little bit of noise, or, you know, I could cut down the way I was looking at the screen or something like that. I mean, there's always room for improvement, but for the most part, I try to take out all of the noise and just show the level. Here we go. I mean, otherwise, this series would be like 2 months long. So, alright, now that I have Metal Man's ability, it's kind of just using that here forward. Metal Man's ability is absolutely detrimental to most all enemies. It has the wider base, so it can knock out the enemies at the bottom of the screen as well as the top. Destroys many enemies simultaneously. And it's just all around an amazing tool. Not to mention, Metal Man is weak as hell against his own weapon. Not the first time we're gonna see this in the Mega Man series, but... So... here we go. I am set and ready to fight this lovely boss. It's not too difficult. I mean, he takes a few hits and he's gone. I mean, it's not like the very first one where, you know, it's like 3 hits, he's done. Or 4 hits, he's done. There's examples later on in like Mega Man X that it's like 1 hit and they're done. Or maybe 2 max. It's a little not that much. But we are getting ourselves equipped with bubble lead. Sounds very much like a oxymoron. So, now that we have, you know, the water slash Iceman slash Bubbleman ability, it's time for Heatman, which is just like Fireman. This is a similarity that will actually be, I believe, through the entire series, different synonyms for water. to different synonyms of fire. And it just kind of stays elemental in some ways. So, this is the stage that was supposed to bring me the most amount of problems. It has the disappearing boxes that I ever so much love. But there's a way around it. Thankfully I had the ability to actually take care of that before I even got there, which was very nice. I try to legitimately do the boxes, and there's a couple areas where you actually probably have to. You could probably still get around this area with one of the item numbers, but instead I thought I'd play around with this for a little bit. Seems like a relatively easy enough puzzle to get through. It's not too painful. There are, like, the main one for this level is literally the entire length of a very long based level with various changing patterns. I mean, if it was consistent, it wouldn't be too difficult, but it's not. It hesitates here and there. It does the same thing that this one does, where it's like, hey, I'm right here, and the next one's over there, but it's gonna be that, you know, frame or two that you have to get your jump on in order to actually get down there. So, but down there we eventually got. And then, yeah, it's not too bad. I got a few more of these boxes. This is how to get through this little area. And they're pretty simple. It's just one and then the other. There might be varying time differences between the two, but for the most part you're just trying to jump over something. Not get through an entire stage with those things. So much fun. Those little guys, they are so much fun. There's, you know, I could use Metal Man's ability too. I tend to use whoever's ability is most reasonable at the time. So, here's my solution to solving this puzzle. And we're just about done. See? Piece of cake. So, I believe we have a couple more screens to go and then it's all over. Alright, of course the Bubbleman bubble lead ability. I guess they say it's lead because it, you know, sinks to the ground and then goes chasing after them instead of just kind of floating into the ether of nothingness, so. Yeah, it doesn't take too many hits, but this guy hits like a truck. Most all the bosses in Mega Man 2, if you actually touch them, will do an extreme amount of damage, like almost more than you can take. So. Alright, getting equipped with the atomic fire. So this is a fun fire technique that shoots out just regular little fireballs, but you can actually charge it. And in all reality, I think this was the first game that I remember with the charging capability, but you know, I can always be mistaken. And we get item number 1! Woo! We are going to kick some serious ass.